Radio for the masses.
Headline edition, July 8, 1947. The Army Air Forces has announced that a flying disc has been found and is now in the possession of the Army.
If the game is rigged, change the game. Game changer.
I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world.
This is Fade to Black with your host, Jimmy Church, on the Game Changer Radio Network.
All right. Welcome, Fade to Black. Today is Tuesday, November 7th, 2023. It was an amazing day today. And tonight, my guest, Janice Oberding. We are going to be talking about haunted Nevada. And before we get to all of that, get your Fade to Black t-shirts. The links are below. 2 t-shirts, 2 ways to get them. Order your shirts, help support the show. That's number one. Number two, I am heading to Las Vegas in a couple of days for Stairway to the Stars at the Luxor Hotel in Las Vegas. I will be your host all weekend long. Very excited. And you can still get your tickets and come and hang out with us. I have a discount code below, a promo code right there. It's Stairway F2B. Get your tickets and make that last minute decision. Come to Las Vegas and come in and hang out with all of us. It's going to be an amazing weekend. Number 3. This is my 4th broadcast today. That's right. I've been working all day long. I started off doing the news, and then I went over to Ron Keel's show. And, you know, Ron's been on the show a few times, one of the great singers in rock and roll history. And he also has his own radio show. And he likes to talk conspiracy on his rock and roll show. On my conspiracy show, I like to talk rock and roll. So that was really cool. I did that. And then immediately after that, I went with Christina Gomez to cover the Mexico UFO hearing today. That was 3 hours and 45 minutes. So I am now nearly exactly 6 hours into programming today. I was posting earlier. I'm a little toasty around the edges. It's great. And now we're going to completely change gears tonight with Janice. And we're going to talk to paranormal tonight and the supernatural. And much of the conversation tonight is going to be centered around her research. And I've called the show tonight, even though we're going to go into all kinds of directions, but I've called the show tonight Haunted Nevada, because she's a writer, she's a historian, she's a paranormal investigator, and she has done a lot of research into Nevada. And now check this out. She has written over 40, that's a 4 and a 0, 40 nonfiction books on Nevada's history, true crime, ghosts, and hauntings. And her whodunit books in the Virginia City mystery series take place in Virginia City circa around the 1860s. She lectures in and around Nevada, and she has appeared on countless TV shows and consulted for others seeking Nevada locations, history, and stories. She is currently working on her PhD thesis in metaphysical sciences. And I've got links for her below, and I would like to welcome for the first time to Fade to Black. She's right here, Janice Oberding. There she is. How you doing, Janice? What's cracking?
Well, I'm doing fine. I know you're a bit tired, huh?
Yeah, just a you know what though? It's the life I chose, right? Yeah. So therefore, can't complain. Can't complain. I'm thankful. I'm humbled, and I am very grateful. And thank you for joining us tonight. And now you get the first time guest disclaimer. So Janice, let's get that out of the way, which is this. Janice, it's just you and I sitting on my couch having a conversation as friends. And where that conversation starts, it starts. Where it ends. But we're going to end as friends. We're already friends, but you know what I'm saying. And you have to accept.
Okay, I accept.
You accept. Okay, good. We're off on the right foot. we were talking right before the show, and I mentioned UFOs, and we're going to be talking about haunted Nevada, but Nevada is also central to the entire UFO story and history. And you've got Area 51 and sightings all over the state. And although that's not my first question, but you know that today I covered this hearing and it was 3.5 hours long. After the hearing was done, Christina Gomez and I were wrapping the hearing and talking about, our thoughts and opinions on everything that was disclosed. And while that was going on, Janice, I heard female voices coming in to the broadcast. And Christina didn't. So now I'm in a soundproof room. I've got sound. It's this. I could show you. Ceiling is covered with foam, right? Tile. Walls are covered in foam tile. You can see behind me, behind those guitars. That's a thick, half-inch thick, soundproofed wall. I've got the wall on this side of me is completely soundboarded, and it's dead. I hear nothing, right? I take my headphones off. It is just eerily dead quiet. And I heard these voices. And I was like, what? And no, it's not. And it's like, what is going on? The audience heard it. Christina didn't. I don't know where it came from. But when I say something like that to you, it's just like another day in the life, right? This is stuff that just happens.
Right. It sounds like EVP, actually.
Yeah. Is it something to be? Is it something to be scared of?
No, I don't think so. I don't think any of it's something to be scared of.
Let's talk about that for a second. Why? First off, we just wrapped with Halloween. Right. Why do people like to get scared?
Well, I don't know. I think it's like the rides, the scary rides at theme parks. You can get on there and you're going to be scared because of all the loops if you're on one of the fancy roller coasters. But when the ride's over, you're safe. And I think it's the same on Halloween, or people like to be scared, but they know after they get all their candy, they're going home safe.
Well, what about a scary movie? It's kind of the same thing, I guess, right? The movie's going to end, and hopefully you're in your safe house. Yes, but man, we sure like to jump out of the chair, don't we?
We do. And speaking of that, one of my all-time favorites is the original Halloween, the 1978. I don't think Halloween's complete. The season's not complete unless I get to watch Halloween.
Yeah. Do you still get scared?
No.
You don't? I did. Halloween still freaks me out. It does. It does. And it's the music and everything else. But the movie, I've seen it so many times, like all of us have. And we know what's coming, but we still watch it. I love that. I mean, I do.
Yeah.
I do. Have you seen I'm going to ask you two questions. The first one is this. Have you ever seen a UFO? Have you ever seen something in the sky you can't explain?
Actually, I have. When my husband and I were driving across the desert, yes. Mm-hmm.
And what did you guys see?
It was like a light. Actually, I said, is that an airplane? And no, it's not it almost was like it was following us. I know that sounds weird, but it was almost like it followed us across from like Goldfield until maybe when we got outside of, I believe it was it Fallon? I believe Fallon. It's been many years, but yes, it was almost like it just followed us.
Now, your husband, who I just met briefly, he had a Hard Rock Hotel T-shirt on.
hmm
So, which says to me he's pretty cool.
He is.
Yeah, yeah, he's pretty cool, right? And does he? We're gonna jump straight into some interesting topics.
Okay.
Does he participate in this stuff with you?
He actually does because he's skeptical more than I am. Of course, I consider myself somewhat skeptical of a lot of things, but he's more skeptical, and he's also like the tech person. Like, we just got a new SLS camera, and I say, well, put it together, show me how to use it. I mean, so he actually knows the equipment and that type of stuff better than I do. And when I speak or something, he sets up the sound and the lights and everything like that for me.
Now, have you ever seen a ghost?
Actually, I have, and I'll tell you, Jimmy, it was daytime in Virginia City, and a former daughter-in-law and I were walking down the boardwalk, and this elderly man is coming toward us. And I look at her and I say, it looks like he died 2 weeks ago. And we start laughing. I know it sounds, and we start laughing and we turn around to see him, and he's not there. So we look, where did he go? We look in the shop doors, the only two shops he could have gotten into, and he wasn't in there. So I'm assuming he actually was a ghost. I mean, Virginia City is one of Nevada's most haunted cities. So I'm assuming he was. And I mean, what's amazing to me is it was broad daylight. But yeah, I've seen ghosts.
Okay. Now, you just said that plural, so you've seen more than one. But let's back up to this guy. Okay. You said, look in the camera when you answer me. Okay. Look right in the camera. You said he looked like he'd been dead for about 2 weeks. Now, why would you say that?
It was just, he was very gray. I mean, I've seen people that are some jaundice or something, but no, he was actually gray. And that's why that was my first impulse. And I know sometimes I have to stop and think before I talk, but yeah, that was my first impulse is, oh my God, he looks like he died 2 weeks ago. Yeah.
Wow. And did your friend see him too?
She did. Yeah, she did.
And so what does that tell you? And let's stay with ghost for a second. Okay. What do you think ultimately a ghost may be? Is it a recording of the past? Is it something captured? Is it something that is present in the real time? Is it interdimensional? Is it just an energy? It could be all of the above. I don't know, but like, for instance, this was
all of the above. I think the popular thing for ghost people or paranormal ghost investigators or ghost hunters, I think, is acceptance that it's a dead person or the spirit of somebody who's passed on. But you're right, it could be something, what they used to call a recorder ghost, that something that's playing out in a spot that's just played out in the same spot over and over and over. Yeah. But I don't don't think any of us truly know what a ghost actually is.
That is such a great answer. And I think that ultimately science is going to figure this out for us, right? And we're going to find out that everything is connected, right? That just may be we're using words, Janice, to define things that we don't understand. Ghosts, entities, UFOs, gray aliens, interdimensional, parallel world, then consciousness, right? Our soul. And then we find out that everything is just the same thing, and we're just using different words for it.
Right. And that one fascinates me is what paranormal universes, or it could be that it could be interdimensional beings or a paranormal universe crisscrossing with us. But I think you're right, and I hope you're right that science will one day give us the answers. I hope.
Do you, if we go back, okay, if we go back in history, we don't have to go back far. Let's go back to, say, the turn of the century, when there was a lot of fascinating things going on, right? And whether it was, seances or spirit boards or Ouijas or scrying mirrors, table tipping, we can go on and on and on and on, right? But the people would get together around the country and around the world and do this. This was like what you did on Friday nights. You went over to your neighbor's house, had coffee, maybe a little wine, and you guys did a seance.
Right.
And all of these, I'll use the word fantastical. It's not a real word, but these occurrences started to happen. Now, it doesn't matter if the seance was real, but the experience for the people there, for them, it's real, right?
Right. That's right.
And is there something? Yeah. Okay, continue. Finish your thought.
Okay, I was just going to say, I think that some of it is the power of suggestion. That is some of it. If you go to a seance, you're expected somebody's going to have some kind of experience or some connection. So I think it's there. It's part of the suggestion of a seance.
Now, why? We're going to stay right here, okay? If you turn on, I just got back from London the month before last, and I was over there for a couple of weeks. And this is what we have it over here in the States, but I spent morning and afternoon, just watching BBC. I just wanted to experience that. I wanted to go and experience BBC. Channel 1, 2, 3, 4. I think they have 4. Right? They have 4 channels. So, but Janice, I'm not making this up. It was paranormal ghost programming on every channel 24 hours a day. That's all they watch. I could be wrong, but people want to know about this stuff. And if it's taking up our programming here and in the UK, and it's probably that way around the world, there is a huge audience for this. We could talk about seances in 1900, but things haven't changed much, have they?
Well, and that's one thing about it. The seance, to me, I was to do an event, and I was told that I couldn't do a seance because people would be upset that you're doing a seance. And yet, here they are with all these equipment out there. Is there anybody who would like to speak to us? May we take your picture? Would you speak to this piece of equipment? To me, a seance is the same thing as a ghost investigation. You're reaching out to the unknown, if you will. And I didn't understand that at all, because to me it's the same.
Now, you can laugh if you want, all right? I've done ghost investigations with teams and for television. I've done that stuff. And even for me, there are just certain situations I'm not going to put myself in. I'm not going in to some insane asylum. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to go into a jail and ghost hunt. I think that you're asking for trouble, right? And I don't want to do that voluntarily. Let it happen in an accidental way. But is there danger involved with ghost hunting? Is it dangerous?
Well, I can't really answer that because there's danger in anything actually anymore. You step outside your front door. I mean, there's danger, certainly. But as far as if you say ghost hunting, I would be more afraid of some live people actually than I would dead people. I think all too often it's the scare factor, you say. We want to be scared. We want to we want to show I'm brave. Look, I'm going in here, and I'm going to challenge these spirits. Or I'm going to go in here with these dead people, and they're not nice. And aren't you impressed that I'm in here doing this? I mean, but as far as actual danger, I think if there was actual danger, I don't think there'd be a whole lot of people out there ghost hunting. I truly don't. I mean, I just don't.
So, okay, you would do a ghost investigation in an old insane asylum. You have no issues with that?
I have no issues. I've never done one. I mean, I haven't, and I've seen that some people have, but I don't have any issues with it. Mm-mm.
No fear. You would be first in the door. In fact, I would, Janice, I would be behind you, by the way. You're going first. I'm just telling you. but you have no issues.
No, I don't. You're talking an old abandoned insane asylum, right?
Oh, what's the difference? What, you saying a new insane asylum is not the place to go?
No, I wouldn't. I think there's good and bad, and if you're really evil when you're alive, you're going to be evil when you're dead. I mean, no, I wouldn't have a problem with it.
So, do you think that ghosts or spirits can harm us?
Actually, no, I don't. I mean, and I really don't.
Why?
I'm going to knock on wood here, but I've never been harmed by one because I think they're not. Well, for one thing, they're not physical beings like we are. They're dead. How would they harm us? I mean, how would they?
Have you ever seen The Shining?
Yes.
That didn't end well for Jack Nicholson, right? that didn't end well for Jack. But I agree with you, and let me tell you why. And then we're going to talk about Ouija boards.
Okay.
But my house is haunted. Okay. Now I live here alone. 2-story house, 5 bedrooms, pretty good size. Okay. I'm in one wing of the house right now. And if I take off my headphones and just sit here, I hear stuff. There is stuff moving. There is stuff happening. I've heard things. I've seen things, and I experience them almost on a daily basis. Okay. Now I have 2 choices, Janice. I can either freak out, right? Or live with it. That's it. What other choice is there? And I choose not to freak out. I talk to them. I do. And I sit here and I think to myself, I'm 60 years old. And I like to think that I'm mature and that I'm smart and that I've got my I want to use a bad word, but I'm not going to have a potty mouth. But I've got my doo-doo together. Okay? I say that, and then in the same breath, I'm telling you that I'm talking to ghosts, right? It's like, what's going on? But that's my way of dealing with it. And you just have to figure out a way to get along, because ghosts are real. The
Yeah.
spirits are real. That part of it is real. I just don't allow it to scare me. Am I dealing with it the right way?
I think absolutely you're dealing with it the right way, Jimmy. Absolutely. Yep.
Do you have a Ouija board?
I have several. Yeah, I do. I have one in my dining room. I have a couple of in my guest room. Yeah, I have a few.
Okay. And do you use them?
Sometimes.
And no, don't be so evasive. Okay, you know what I have? I have a Ouija board tray.
Uh-huh.
I don't have a Ouija board, but I've got a metal. It's about it's pretty big, and it's on my coffee table in my living room. But that's as far as I'm going to go. Right? I don't have a. But if you've got several Ouija boards, you use them.
I do. I've not had a lot of luck, like asking questions, getting occasional yes, no, or this or that. But yes, I do, and I don't have any problems. I'm knocking on wood again, but no, I don't have any problems with them. No.
Oh, what do you use them for? You're reaching out to somebody, so what do you use them for?
Okay, well, here was it last New Year, 2 New Year's Eve ago, I was working on a book that had some short stories in them, and one of the stories was it George Reeves, who had played as Superman? You know what in the 50s, how his death, it's still there's still controversy. Was he murdered or did he commit suicide? So I thought, okay, well, my friend had just made me a beautiful Ouija board, so I said, well, let's use it and ask George Reeves. Let's ask him about it. So we start asking George, will you come and tell us about this, blah, blah, blah. And what we got was, and I'm still trying to figure out what the answer to this is, what would Clark Kent do? And that was what we got that on the Ouija board, how it spells out, what would Clark Kent do? I don't know what it meant, but I'm assuming George may have been giving us a riddle or something to deal with.
Now, okay, so who do you Ouija with? Do you have a partner?
Not really. Sometime a friend or two, but yeah, I believe what you're saying. It's right. You should have a regular group. I know I've done a remarkable one at the Nevada State Prison recently, at the prison in the death chamber. But yeah, I think if you work with a regular group, it's better than if you say, okay, come on, let's do this. Let's do a Ouija board experience or whatever. But yeah, it's better to work with same people.
Yeah, and do you do it? Do you use them by yourself?
Not just me.
Okay. Now wait a minute. Did I understand? Did you just wait a minute? Did you just say you did a Ouija board session in the Nevada State Prison death chamber? Is that what you said?
Yeah, we did, and that was we did. They've closed up that. It was the old prison. They closed it up, and a friend of ours is in charge of the ghost events there and the ghost tours and stuff. So she invited my husband and I to come down and do a seance in there. So I have this crystal ball, and it's like it's 26 pounds. So Bill, my husband, was carrying it across the yard. We get in there, and we're doing our seance. Now, there's only 4 of us. There's her and her friend and Bill and I. That's all. And she's locking the doors. As we leave one room, she locks the doors. And we're in the death chamber, and she's doing EVP. She's recording EVP while the seance is going on. And almost halfway through it, and we hear these loud footsteps coming down Death Row, coming in our direction. Now, I think that's the first time I've really ever been intimidated, because I'm thinking, okay, who is that? What is that? What do they want? And my husband says to me, you better close the seance. So I closed the seance. The footsteps stopped, and I don't know who it was, but she said she got EVP, a lot of EVP, that angry voices saying, get out. And in general, just not happy with us.
You know, you're crazy, right? I mean, really. And what do you think, if you don't mind me asking, when we talk about EVPs or disembodied voices, and in this case, you're hearing physical footsteps during this, what is initiating that? Because now we're going from the spirit world into the physical world, right? There's something physical happening that's creating those footsteps. What do you think is going on? And come on, you got a little scared.
Yeah, I was. I admit it. I mean, that's one of the few times, actually, yeah, because I'm wondering, what, like you said, what is this? What's causing this? What does this want? I mean, yeah, those questions are going through your mind. Like, what is it? I'm not that powerful doing seances. I mean, most seances, you don't, I don't anyway, get a lot of evidence or things like that. So I really don't know what was causing it. It could have been anything. I mean, maybe the building was tilting and shifting. I don't know what it was, to tell you the truth.
Yeah. No, it was footsteps from a ghost, Janet. Let's not, somebody that met their end in that room, and you're there. I'm okay with that. But what about your husband, the skeptic? He was there. Did he hear the footsteps?
He heard, everyone, all four of us heard them, and he was amazed. I mean, he was amazed, because nothing like that had ever happened when I did a seance. So he was pretty amazed. Yeah.
Yeah, I love EVPs too, as well. And you guys got the trifecta that day, right? So you're doing a seance. You get your EVPs, you got footsteps, and you Ouija too as well. That's a pretty strong indication that the phenomena itself is real. We just don't know what's going on.
Yeah, that's right. We don't really know. We know something's happening, but exactly what it is or what's causing it, I mean, not sure.
The EVP part of this, EVPs, they freak me out. And I used to listen to them, I used to host Coast to Coast, right? I hosted Coast to Coast for 7 years. Mm-hmm. And it was such a treat for me to go and speak into that microphone to that audience. That's a huge privilege and stuff. But before I hosted Coast to Coast, I would listen to Coast to Coast, and as a fan. And let me tell you what freaked me out the most. It was the EVPs of children.
Yeah.
An EVP of something, get out. Well, okay, all right. Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. But children are what affected me the most, because they sounded lost and sad. I'm a dad, right? And I was affected by that deeply. But what do you think? How does that phenomena happen? How is it possible? I've watched EVPs go down myself, and I know that they're real. But what is allowing it to happen?
I don't know. I really don't know, Jimmy. I agree with you. The saddest EVP are children. It's really sad, because like you said, it's like they're lost. They're not sure where they're at, what's happened, or they're searching for a parent, their parents or something. So yeah, I agree with you. Those are the saddest, is the children.
Yeah, because they're in a dream that they can't wake up from.
Yes.
Right? That's got to be the most frightening thing of all, something that's completely out of your control, and you can hear it in their voices. And I think that's why we're affected by it so much.
Yes.
And okay. This, I want your reaction to this, but I want your own experiences too as well. I was doing a ghost investigation, and we all know what EVPs are. And we're in the basement. We're in a tunnel in an LAPD precinct that was built in like 1920, 1930. Old, right? Okay. And so we're down there. We've got the cameras running, and and we're doing this thing. And this guy takes out this recorder, right? And it's myself, and you probably know Susan Slaughter, and so she's there, and it's the three of us with camera people and sound people. Guy takes out this recorder, and he asks a question. I forget what it was, but it was something like, "Okay, Bugsy Malone, if you're down here, what have you got to say?" Right? And then we do like 15 seconds of silence, right? And then he just plays it back. And I hear her go, "So, Elliot, or, Bugsy Malone, if you're here, what have you got to say to it?" And this thing, as plain as day, right, said something like, "Okay, man, check this out. Get out of the tunnel." And I lost my mind because, Janice, I was there.
Yeah.
I was there. Yeah. There was no voices in there, and we all went silent, and that proved to me that not only is the phenomenon real, but I got the heck out of that tunnel. I did, man. I was like, I'm out. That was fun. That was cool. I'm out of here. It's got to be and something electronic, like spirits or charged energy. And they find a way to get inside of these things. When you're doing an EVP and you hear that response, when you know that there is nothing there, but yet it comes through on a recorder, is it electronic? Is it interdimensional? When you hear the voice, you've got to rationalize it for yourself, right?
You do, and I am with you on that. I don't know if it's interdimensional. I would like to assume that something like you're talking about, you actually got Bugsy Malone, but it could have just easily been some other entity saying, "Okay, they want Bugsy. Well, here, I'm going to say this or that." I'm not sure if it's actual dead people, ghosts, or interdimensional, or something we haven't learned about or thought about yet.
And do you think that you will find out?
Truthfully, I just had this conversation with a friend the other night, and she believes that science will eventually give us the answers about whether or not we're talking with the dead. I don't really know if science, I hope they do. I hope science will, but I don't really know. Maybe AI can help us with that. I don't know, because science doesn't seem to be really in that direction so much. I think science more or less is accepting, okay, you're dead, you're gone, you're out of here, that's it. And I don't know. I really don't know. I hope so.
That's such a great answer. And I think the reason for that is because it's a cop-out with scientists and with physicists that it's something that they can't measure. They can't see it. So therefore, they can't quantify it. They can't repeat it in the lab. So therefore, it's not worth their time. But yet, you know what? They'll be the last one to walk into a haunted house. Right? and that's the other part of it. And do you think you have an advantage though? You've written 40 books. You're an investigator. You've been to all of these locations. Ghosts know who you are, right? Do you have an advantage over the normal person with this?
No, you know what, Jimmy, and I don't think so. And that is something that I you've heard people say, "Oh, the ghosts love me. I'm so good and kind, and the ghosts love me." And I always think, if all live people don't love you and rush to you, why would dead people love you and rush to you? No, I don't think it's an advantage at all. I think it's just like, I suppose, like somebody I saw today, a story about Barbara Streisand, and she was talking about the way Siri was pronouncing her name, and she went to the owner of Apple and said, "Hey, Siri's mispronouncing Streisand." And then she says, "Well, that's one of the perks of being famous." And it's true, if you're famous like Barbara Streisand, maybe the ghost would be impressed. But if you're just an average person, I don't think they would be impressed.
No, but you're not average.
Well,
you're not 40 books. You know how much I've written? 0. And so I'm being very serious when I say this. If somebody's going to go and get these answers, it's somebody like you that I could see a spirit opening up to. Okay, Janice, this is really what's going on, right? And I could see that happening. That's your advantage.
Well, maybe. I suppose. I never thought of it that way. But when you say you haven't written a book yet, the word is yet. Yet. You haven't yet.
Yeah.
You see, that's it, yet. I don't know. Maybe. I hadn't thought of it like that.
Now, going back to Ouija boards, where if one of the crazy rabbit holes, one of the scary things that you can do is go and watch Ouija board videos on YouTube, right? There's millions of them. And that would indicate to me some of them are fake and they're entertaining. All right, that's fine. Okay, I get that. But there is a right and a wrong way to use a Ouija board. You can get a bad experience out of it, can't you?
I guess you could. You could.
Okay, you want to say no. So I can see it. I don't want to put words in your mouth, but are you saying that Ouija boards are not? I've got a very big audience that's listening to this show right now. And okay. I would bet a dime to a dollar, 9 out of 10 will not allow a Ouija board into their house.
My own mother won't. My own mother thinks that's weird. I mean, I guess you could see, the thing of it is, we don't know who's communicating with us when we use a Ouija board. Is it interdimensional? Is it the spirit of a dead person? Is it our own? Are we causing the planchette to move? Is it us ourselves? I think if you go into a Ouija board session, like hoping to be scared or hoping I want to talk to a demon, or I want to be scared, or I want to do, then yes, maybe you could.
When my daughter Nicole, she was probably like 3. Mm-hmm. And we were at Toys R Us. Some things you just can't make up. Okay, this is one of those. It sounds like I'm making it up. Her and I are walking through and doing our things, and I'm buying her stuff, and we're having fun, right? Father and daughter walking through Toys R Us, and we're in the back of the store in the pink section where everything is pink. Yeah. And I look, and there is a pink Ouija board, right, in a box. And I'm thinking to myself at that moment, first off, that's being pitched to little girls. All right. That's why it's in a pink box. And the second thought popped in my head: how many little girls have a sleepover at their house, right? 5, 6, 7 years old, and they pull out the Ouija board and they Ouija on a Friday night when they're in the bedroom, with their sleeping bags. And that to me doesn't sound like a good idea. What do you make of the marketing to kids?
Okay, I have one of those Ouija boards. It's a pink carrying case, right?
Yes.
I've got a story about that. Years ago, a friend and I were traveling in Area 51. You know, the little alien down there, the saloon hotel, or anyway, we stop into the saloon and there's a lot of men in there. I guess they call it the bar down there, and 2 women. And I've got the little Ouija board on my shoulder. I'm walking. She goes, "Is that a Ouija board?" I say, "Yes." She goes, "If you bring that in here, we're leaving." I said, "Okay." So they left, and there, my friend and I stayed. So yeah, I know the little pink Ouija board. I don't have a problem with them marketing them to children because I think there's a lot of superstition given to Ouija boards. They're just cardboard. That's all they are. I mean, if you say, "Oh, well, this television is cursed, and if you watch it, you're going to have 10 years of bad luck." It's the same thing with the Ouija board. I think I know in the 20s and 30s, there was a resurgence. The Ouija board became very popular, and a resurgence of anti-Ouija board, if you will, and people were using it forever. A woman shot her husband in California. She shot and killed her husband, and then when they came for her, she said, "Well, the Ouija board told me to do it." And then there's another case in Arizona. A woman had a Ouija board, and she wanted rid of her husband because she had a new lover. So she asked her teenage daughter, "Let's have a Ouija session here with the Ouija board." And supposedly the Ouija board told the daughter, "Kill daddy." And the daughter did. She killed him. She went out in the barn and shot him. And so they blamed the Ouija board for it. And people were,
You just dropped
the
out.
Ouija board had a thing to not kill. Yeah. So I think the Ouija board gets to oftentimes, especially in the 20s and 30s, people would commit a crime. It wasn't the devil. The Ouija board made me do it. I didn't do it. The Ouija board told me to do it. And I think that's still today the same. That's just superstition.
Would that hold up in court? I mean, a crime of passion, you might get off, right? I'm wondering if the Ouija board defense is a good one.
Well, it was. Well, now the little girl went to the children's, home, or if you say, or for children until she was 18. And the mother, I think she was put in prison for a while because they figured that out. But there's a case in England where they used, the jury couldn't decide if the guy had actually murdered these people. So they devised a homemade Ouija board, I guess used a cocktail glass or something to read out if he's guilty or innocent. And the Ouija board, they found him guilty. And when his attorney found out, he got another trial, but same results. I mean, not the Ouija board this time. So I think a Ouija board gets a bad, if you say bad rap. People blame things on the Ouija board, I believe.
Now, you've been investigating and researching there in Nevada for a very long time. It's an obvious question. Do you have a favorite haunted location?
Well, I have a few. Uh, the Goldfield Hotel is a favorite of mine. And there again, it's a legend of Elizabeth that was chained to the radiator, and she died. George Wingfield chained her there, and then she died. And so her ghost haunts room 109, and that's not true at all. I mean, I like the Goldfield. I believe it's very haunted. It's one of those places that you can go inside and you can feel right away. This place is haunted. You can actually feel it. Now, in the daytime, you go in there and you would say, this isn't haunted. This isn't haunted at all, just an old building. But at nighttime, the whole aura, the whole atmosphere of that place just changes, and it takes on a real, like almost a negative thing. But the story of Elizabeth is not true. It's based on a fact. I mean, a woman named May Barrett, who did support George Wingfield as a prostitute. And then when he became very wealthy, he dumped her, and she sued him because she claimed to be his common law wife. And of course, he won the suit because he was the most powerful man in Nevada. But it's one I've been touched in there before, broad daylight. So yeah, it's one of my favorites because of so many stories that are attached to it and ghosts and things.
Now, for our audience, where is the Goldfield?
It's in Goldfield, which is about halfway between Reno and Las Vegas on Highway 95. Yeah, it's almost the halfway point between Reno and Las Vegas. And I think there may be about 300 people living in Goldfield. I mean, yeah, that might be more than there actually are. But yeah, it's used to be, well, in the turn of the century, 1905, it was the largest city in all of Nevada, over 10,000 people. But it's pretty cool. Pretty cool.
Yeah. So you have the gold rush, the silver rush, all of that is going on, and you've got a town without a sheriff, probably, right? And that's what Goldfield was at that time. And I like the way that you say, very directly, it changes, and you can feel it. Is it something that is directly negative? Is that the vibe?
Yes, yes. In the daytime, it's just it's just mellow. It's just an old building. But when the sun goes down, when it's dark nighttime, yes, it takes on a totally more very negative. Yes. Mm-hmm.
Is it because of its reputation of stuff that went on in the hotel, or is it its location?
I've had people say that it's the location because they say the minerals and the minerals in the stones around the place and the soil and stuff like that. I really don't know. I just know that it is very definitely changes totally.
Now, so you go into the Goldfield. We're going to take a break here in a few minutes. What equipment do you take stuff with you?
Well, I do. I take camera, recorder. One time I took a haunted doll. That kind of stuff. Camera and recorders.
And what when we watch different shows today, and certainly we were talking about that earlier, where it just seems to be everywhere. Are these different electronic devices and inventions? Do they work?
Well, Jimmy, I don't know. Now I'll tell you what. Personally, I don't know. I will say personally, if we're not sure what a ghost is, how do we know what equipment is going to give us evidence of a ghost? And I will say that I had devised some elaborate scheme. Now it's been several years, so it involved dice, and it involved the letters of the alphabet and numbers and stuff. And my friend had a novelist, a brand new novelist, and I said, "I'll bet you this works as good as that novelist." So we went into the Goldfield Hotel in what they call the energy room. And she was walking around asking, Obelisk is throwing out words, here and there. And I'm rolling my dice and spelling out and stuff. And actually, I got as much as she did. I mean, so I really don't know. No, I don't know.
With all of the ghost hunting shows and paranormal shows, every town, every city, every block in the country now has a paranormal team. I encourage it. I love it. I think it's great. People going out there and doing this, but I can't help but binge on these shows, Janice. I just love watching these shows, but some of it is probably set up. And I don't know if I really care about that, but does that interfere with real investigations into the supernatural and the paranormal, where some of this stuff is faked, and then people that are trying to be very serious about it, like yourself, you have to fight that, right? You have to fight the people that are saying this is all fake.
No, I don't think so. I think there is a difference. There's paranormal entertainment TV, and then there's real life. And I've always said, if you put a real life ghost investigation on television for an hour, people wouldn't sit through that. They'd say, this is so boring, I don't want any part of it. I mean, if you're watching it, we need to be entertained. And I don't think there's anything wrong with somebody overreacting or anything. I don't see anything wrong with them. I think there's a place for paranormal TV and paranormal entertainment, and I think both can coexist. And somebody says, "Oh, that's fake." Well, I don't know. Okay, if you say it's fake, that's fine. I just say there's room for both.
There you go. Let's take our break right here. Our guest tonight, Janice Oberding. We're talking about haunted Nevada tonight and the paranormal and the supernatural. We will be right back after this short break. Stay with us. This is Jimmy Church of Fade to Black. Please visit all of our sponsors. We're taking a quick break here. All of the links are below. We'll be right back. Join us November 10th, 11th, and 12th, 2023, live at the Luxor Hotel and Casino on the Las Vegas Strip, as Disclosure Fest Foundation and Fade to Black Radio presents Stairway to the Stars, a Human Origins Science and Technology Expo, with live talks, lectures, and workshops by world-acclaimed researchers and authors, featuring topics like human origins, ancient technologies, indigenous teachings, workshops, a mass meditation, yoga and sound healing, music, and so much more. This is Jimmy Church, by the way, and I'll be your host all weekend long. Don't miss our intimate sky watch and meteor shower over the infamous Area 51 airspace in Rachel, Nevada, with special surprise celebrity hosts guiding us through the night. This event will sell out. For more information and tickets, please visit disclosurefest.org. Hi, everybody. Jimmy Church here. Very special announcement, and that is we are shipping Fade to Black t-shirts again. It's been almost 2 years. We did a full upgrade to the website, so you can head over to jimmychurchradio.com. It's all simple to do, and it's right there. Remember, We broadcast 4 nights a week, Monday through Thursday. We bring you the best, the brightest, the most knowledgeable and amazing guests, the best conversations. We do that 4 nights a week. We also do 4 days a week. We broadcast the news, and we do that live too as well. It's not a one-man show. I do it with website support. I do it with producers. I do it with writers and artists. All contribute to the show. The best way to help support what we do here is with the Fade to Black t-shirt. And you can get your Fade to Black t-shirt one of 2 ways. First, go to jimmychurchradio.com, order a shirt. It's really that simple. You're going to get a tracking number, it's going to get shipped, and it's going to get autographed. The second way to get a shirt is with a Game Changer membership. Now, the Game Changer membership not only includes a free t-shirt, but you get a private email to me. You get unlimited commercial-free downloads. You have full access to the website, and everything includes free shipping, and everything is autographed. So help support the show. Get your Fade to Black t-shirt today. The links are below. You can just go to jimmychurchradio.com, and it's right on the website. So there you go. I'm Jimmy Church, Fade to Black. I'm so excited that I just have one thing to say. Go Beckley Teppy.
This is Robert Clotworthy, the narrator of your favorite television show, Ancient Aliens. And I want to remind everyone that November 10th, 11th, and 12th at the Luxor Hotel in Las Vegas, Nevada, Disclosure Fest is happening. Yes, Stairway to the Stars. And guess what? I'm going to be part of an Ancient Aliens panel. I will be sharing the stage with the biggest stars of Ancient Aliens. Nick Pope, David Childress, Jason Martell, William Henry, all hosted by Jimmy Church. Is it possible that this will be the most amazing convention ever? Could it be that if you don't get your tickets, you'll regret it? Ancient astronaut theorists say yes. See you in Vegas.
River Moon Coffee, makers of the Fade to Black blend. Truly the best coffee on planet Earth. Just visit rivermoonwellness.com or their Amazon store. It's all simple to do. You can check out the Fade to Black blend, the Game Changer blend, or any of their Black Moon Wellness products. It's the only coffee I drink. It is the best, and it's Doc. Again, rivermoonwellness.com. All right. Welcome back. Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Tonight, we're talking about ghosts. We're talking about haunted. We're talking about Haunted Nevada, the paranormal and the supernatural, with author and researcher Janice Oberding. And Janice, you just did this thing didn't just do it, but at the prison there in Nevada, and in the death chamber, and you heard footsteps. Are you concerned that an encounter like that could follow you home?
Oh, no. I tell you, and no, I don't think, I think ghosts aren't like stray cats or puppy dogs or something. How often do live people follow you home? Not very often. I mean, let's hope a live person doesn't follow you home. So why would a dead person? And I always say this. Now, it irritates my husband, but I always say this when somebody asks me that question. I always tell the ghost, if you want to follow me home, okay, go ahead. But if you weren't already dead, you'd die of boredom if you followed me home. And so far, it works.
I don't know if that's good advice.
It works for me.
I don't know about that one, but that works for you.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what about haunted things like the Dibbit box, right? that's got a pretty solid reputation. And what about, going to a garage sale and buying something, and then suddenly you've got stuff moving around your house? Do spirits affect?
Mhm. That is true. You're right. You can have objects that are haunted. If you collect antiques or vintage clothes or jewelry, absolutely. And I'll tell you now, uh, several years ago, before Zach Bagans opened his museum, he had me down there, and I was looking around, and I saw this beautiful, like a chest. It was shiny, and I liked the woodwork. So I'm going to go over there and touch this because it looks so cool. I wanted to touch it. And Zach pulled me back and say, "Don't touch that. It's cursed." So I'm glad I didn't touch it. I mean, maybe, yeah, objects can be haunted.
What was the box? Do you remember?
I don't remember. It just looked pretty woodwork to me, and it looked very smooth woodwork, and I just wanted to touch it.
Um, Zach is a pretty interesting guy, and I watched the movie about the house in, I think it was in Gary, Indiana, that he bought, that demon house. And that, even for me, I was pretty affected by that and what was going on in that house. I'm not so sure that I would be as courageous as Zach, purchase the house, seal up the windows, and then lock myself in it with a bunch of cameras for a few days or however long, because everybody that was involved with that project got affected and got attachments to it. Would you investigate your own home? Is that advice? Is that good advice for people?
To investigate your own home, I don't know. I really don't know. I don't
I mean,
investigate my.
is it something that you should leave to professionals? Because people are watching these shows. So they go on Amazon, they order a K meter, right? and they buy a little recorder and they, some sage, and they're walking around their house with night vision cameras and doing a ghost investigation at their house. Is that a good idea for people to do?
Okay, this is how I feel, and I know that a lot of paranormal investigators disagree with me on this, and that's fine because not everybody's going to agree with us. I don't like private residence investigations. I don't like doing. I have done them. I don't like doing them. I won't do them any longer, because the thing of it is we don't really know what a ghost is unless we're really researching these people, and I mean, getting to know these people, evaluating these people, interviewing these people. And I don't talk, and now we're coming here and we're going to do this. I mean, over time, we're going to come in there and say, okay, you have 3 ghosts over here and they're attached to him or her, and they're here because somebody died here 20 years ago. I don't really think most paranormal investigators just aren't qualified enough, because just as easily you could be dealing with something that may be mental issues. It might be out of your wheelhouse. You're not qualified to really know what's going on. So for that reason, I don't like it. I think it assumes we're here to help. We're going to help people. Well, if you don't really know what the problem is, you can't really help. So I'm really against the private residence ghost investigations.
Is that a giant white lion walking around your house? My goodness gracious.
Yeah, she's a big cat. Yeah, she's a big
That
cat.
is a big, that's a big,
Yeah.
the cat's like this long. I absolutely love that. Now, but you're right. And now I have had many offers to cleanse my house. I don't want to do it. Okay. First off, I don't really know what's going on. Second, I haven't been harmed or hurt. And the third thing, I think it's kind of cool. Okay. All right. I'm having experiences and all right, but that's my choice. But I don't want to set up cameras and see something. You know, I'm not really cool with that. And I've had plenty of offers, but no, I don't want to know. I don't. I'll give you a couple of examples, and I want your reactions to this. When I've told the story so many times now, but it doesn't change the fact that it's real. So I moved into the house, and when I moved in, it was completely empty. Okay, I literally had a king size mattress upstairs and a TV. The house is empty, right? I'm unpacking boxes and I have a walk-in closet, and I with shoe racks along the back wall. Okay, so to get into the walk-in closet, you have to go into the master bedroom, go into the bathroom, and then into the walk-in closet. Pretty standard issue. Okay, so I'm putting pairs of tennis shoes. I have a shoe thing. It's a bad problem. I go to a once a week meeting about my shoe problem. Anyway, so I'm in there and I'm putting pairs of shoes on these shelves. I go back downstairs and I've got like 2 rows. I've got 2 more rows to fill up, but I've got 2 rows filled on the bottom. And I go downstairs, grab another box of shoes, and I come back upstairs. And I go into the master. I go into the walk-in closet, and there's a pair of shoes in the middle of the floor, crisscrossed on top of each other. And I thought to myself, I thought I put all the shoes on the shelf. Okay, all right. So I put the shoes on the shelf, and I unpack some more shoes, and I stack those. I go back downstairs. It's about an hour later. I come back upstairs, go in, got a box, and I walk into the walk-in closet, and a different pair of shoes is on top in the middle of the floor. And I screamed, ah, right? I back up and I'm looking, I was like, all right, there's something going on. And I'm immediately talking to the ghost. So I put the shoes back, and now for the next couple of weeks, it was like every day, different pair of shoes in the middle of the floor, falling down. Some were on the bottom shelf, right? That they didn't have a place to fall, and they were in the middle of the floor. It was like that. Now, it was suggested to me, set up a camera. I was taking pictures and posting and stuff. I didn't want to set up a camera. I could have, but I didn't want to see a pair of shoes falling down. I didn't want to see it happen. So while all of that is going on, I can't show this to you here, but follow my finger. To my right is, you remember the show The X-Files, right? And you remember that I Want to Believe poster that Mulder had in his office? Well, I've got one. And it's right here, but it's mounted on foam core. It's real thick, and it was professionally mounted at a frame store, and that's hanging on the wall right here. And I come downstairs, I come into my studio, and that poster has fallen down. And I went, no, that's impossible. It's put up with a screw. So I get the poster, I look, and on the back, the thing that mounts it is broken, and it's like thick plastic. And it's sitting on the middle of my floor right here. And I thought, okay, that's kind of weird. All right. So I remounted, thing and foam tape and all of that stuff. I get it, and I bolt it back to the wall. It's bolted now. It's not going anywhere. But as I'm sitting here and I finish that, and I'm scratching my head, that's kind of weird. I spin my chair around, and I look. You can't see it, but underneath this shelf, you can see part of it right here. It's a desk here. The foam core. Remember, this is foam core, is in the middle of my studio on the floor. It had come out like 6 feet and is in the middle of the floor. I put it back, and then I just sat back and I went, okay, this place is like completely haunted. And something is speaking to me. I don't know what it is. I don't know what these connections are, but I'm the only person here. There's not little kids playing around. I don't have a giant, Siberian tiger like you have at your house, right? I don't have those things here. And so when I experience these things, I have a choice, but I have chosen not to investigate. I did go and look into the history of the house. 2 families lived here before me. Everything normal. I'm asking my neighbors. I don't want to freak my neighbors out like, hey, man, anybody die in my house? I'm not asking them that, but everybody has told me, oh, yeah, nice family. Yeah, nice family, and just moved out. But I can't find anything with the location or anything strange about the house. So something is here. I just don't know what it is. Is there any way to find out, to ask, or to get information from something you can't see?
Well, there's ways to get information. What I would do, I think if you talk to, like, obviously, like you said, whatever is haunting your place wants to let you know, hey, I'm here too, but doesn't want to harm you or really cause any difficulties. I mean, putting the shoes crisscross, taking the poster down and things like that. I think that's attention, like, I'm here, pay attention, know that I'm here. You could try EVP, but if you really didn't want to know, you could get a hold of a realtor, and that you can look at the, who lived in the house. Now, in some states, if somebody died in your house, they have to let you know that.
Right.
You might do that. Might look at the courthouse records and the deeds and things like that. But then remember, it could be the land itself. It might not be the house at all. Somebody might have died in that land 200 years ago. I mean, it's possible that too, but it doesn't seem to me like it's a negative, more like a playful, like, hey, I want attention, I'm here, notice me type thing.
There's one thing I haven't done yet. I'll tell you what that is. In my master, I just heard something very strange again. That was crazy. In the master closet, there's the entrance to the attic. Okay, you pull the thing down and the ladder comes down. I haven't gone up there. I haven't opened it. Maybe that's it. It's weird. And I look at it all the time and I'm like, no. I'm going to wait till I have a friend over here before somebody's got to be here with me before I open that up. What would you do to get more information? I mean, I've already done the internet search and I've looked at all the property. I've done that part. But is there a paranormal approach to this that I should maybe think about?
I would try EVP. I
Really?
would try that. I would say, yeah.
So you're just saying I should just scare the crap out of myself. I should just scare the crap out of myself and do an EVP.
Obviously they don't. Whatever's there doesn't want to scare you. I think they could do a lot more if they wanted to scare you. I think they want you to know, or whatever's there wants you to know, to be aware that they're there. And I think you could just say, okay, I know you're here. Please don't do that with my shoes anymore. Please don't do this kind of stuff. I know you're here. We can both coexist here, blah, blah, blah. You could try something like that if what's going on is bothering you. You may never know, but that's what I would try, is just try talking. Just, hey.
I remember it like it was yesterday, when The Exorcist came out. So The Exorcist comes out, and what happens immediately? There are newspaper headlines in every city in the United States about somebody being possessed, right? And it was everywhere. You remember how that just took over the country. Is that a situation of people manifesting this, right? They think about it and it becomes a part of their reality? Or are demons real and there's a religious component to this? Or was it just a sensation that just rolled by?
I don't know. I personally don't believe that demons exist. I personally don't believe it. I've never, I mean, here I'll knock on wood again because I'm superstitious, but I've been doing paranormal investigations, ghost investigations for a very long time, and I have yet to encounter one. I've encountered maybe not very nice ghosts, certainly ones that might want to scare you, but not demons. I knock on wood. I've never been possessed. I think.
Well, what do you mean? What do you mean, demons?
It's a lot of maybe some of it's attention.
Janice, you just said demons don't exist.
I don't believe they exist. I mean, I just don't. I don't believe they do. I mean, I just don't.
What about? You have to have a reason for saying that. And before you answer, does consciousness, our soul consciousness, does it exist in the physical, or does it exist outside of our bodies? And then answer the demons, why demons don't exist.
You know what? And that's what I say. We're not. You say something out of your mind. No, your mind is out of you. You're right. Our consciousness exists outside of us. I believe our mind exists outside of us, the collective consciousness. But I just think that to me, demons are like. Well, I know a lot of people disagree with this, but I see demons like as Tooth Fairy and Santa Claus and that stuff. That's how I see it. For me, that's how I see it.
What do you mean? Are you saying the Tooth Fairy is not real? Wait a minute. What is Santa Claus isn't real? Are you going to reveal something like that on this show? Look at the size of that cat. Yeah. My goodness gracious. How many pounds?
22, 23 pounds.
A 23-pound cat. It's a bobcat. It is a lion. Yeah. It's a beautiful cat. Absolutely beautiful. But if demons don't exist and we have all of these priests and religious leaders and people cleansing and holy water and you know what I mean, exercising. What are they actually exercising then? And is demon the wrong word? Are they using the word demon when it could be another word to describe what is actually happening? And what about a walk-in? You know, what about a spirit taking over a body that isn't necessarily a demon?
I think I've never seen that in my personal. I think a lot of times it's like, you know, I didn't do it. The devil made me do it. It wasn't me. A walk-in came in and told me to say this and do that. It wasn't me. No, I think it's not true. I don't know. You say religious leaders and exercising and things. If that works for people, that's good. But I don't believe it.
The other side of this, though, when we look at what was that movie called? Annabelle, or is it called Annabelle? Now I've had I've had the owners of Annabelle on Fade to Black. Okay. And the ideas behind that, and what that doll in Florida. Help me. What's the doll in Florida?
Robert.
Robert the doll.
Robert.
Okay. Now, there is enough history behind those two. They both happen to be dolls, right? There's enough history there to suggest that they are possessed by something, are they? Let's talk about Annabelle first. Is it pop culture, or are these spirit?
Well, Annabelle's enclosed in a glass case, right? Isn't she enclosed in like a glass?
I think they both are. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, if a demon's so powerful, you think this case is going to keep them? I mean, this big cat could probably break out of a glass case if she wanted to. I mean, I can't. If a demon's as evil and as powerful as we want to say, it's not powerful enough to break a glass case. I mean, I think the power of suggestion is strong. I think we all want to look at me. I'm so brave. I'm here with Annabelle, and I'm not afraid. Or look at me. I'm so brave. I'm here with Robert the doll, and I'm not afraid because he's so evil and she's so evil. I don't necessarily believe that those dolls are possessed of anything. I mean, I don't know, but if you ask me, I say no.
Would you bring Robert the doll home and have it spend the night in your house?
I don't know. Now you saying that, I told you I'm superstitious. I have seen Robert, and I was superstitious enough to say, okay, Robert, I'm going to ask permission. I'd like to take a picture with you, Robert. So I hope it's okay. And I had a picture taken of me with Robert. I mean, he was in his glass case, but I don't think so. I probably wouldn't. I don't want to take any chances, but no, I probably would just leave him where he's at.
Did you pick up a vibe from him? I mean, when I look at pictures of Robert the doll, I haven't seen Robert the doll in person. Okay, but it kind of freaks me out. But maybe it's just the stories that do that. Did you pick up a vibe from Robert?
Um, he's definitely different. Yeah, he's definitely different. That's about all I'll say is but it, I mean, um, who knows if maybe a ghost is sitting in there with him and um, trying to scare people. I don't know, but yeah, he's definitely different. You're right. There is something.
Why don't we see? Why don't we see ghost of? I know you get this question. I get it a lot too. Why don't we see ghost of Stone Age men? Why don't we see ghosts of dinosaurs? Why is it always something more modern? It's like the oldest ghost we see is from the Civil War, right? Why don't we see ghosts of everything that has died?
Maybe the dinosaurs weren't smart enough to come back. I don't know, but yeah, you're right. That is a question that's asked a lot. And I don't have a problem saying I don't know. I mean, maybe I have a friend who has a theory that ghosts are only allowed, like say the ghost of Anne Boleyn in England and stuff. They're only allowed to haunt so many, like, I don't know, 200 or 300 years, and then they're not allowed to be here anymore. So maybe that would absolve dinosaurs and Stone Age men from being here. I don't know.
And we talked about the interdimensional part of this. Could it be something as simple as that? Because so much is seen and explained the same way. I'll give you an example. Bigfoot shows up and then disappears, right? UFOs show up in the sky, but just appear and then they disappear. ET coming into a room and then walking out of a room, where and ghosts are doing the same thing, where there's an interdimensional aspect to all of this. Is it just as simple as that, where it's a parallel world or some type of portal opens up and closes, where these entities come and go through a vortex, and it could be something as simple as that.
It could be. I mean, there are portals, so it could be.
Well, the reason why I asked this, I just recently, I can't get into real details on this. And I have my reasons for this, but I recently just saw a video, and I can't say any more than that. But this video was shot outside, and I'm here to tell you, Janice, I've seen the video, and a portal, and it's like a round area. Okay, so you can see it's shot outside, so everything outside is normal, but you see this thing, right? And it's like a sphere, is the best way I could explain it. It's like a sphere, and something comes out of it, and it's plain as day. And I'm looking at this, just a normal. This is not a cell phone. This is an old VHS tape. This is not, it's an old thing. And I'm looking at this, and I'm thinking to myself, it was lucky that this person caught it, but how much of this happens all the time, where maybe this is just nature? Maybe this is just physics. Maybe this is just the way the universe works. And this person just happened to be at the right place at the right time. And this video was shot on accident, by the way. It wasn't, shot with the intention of shooting something like this. But when you hear something like that, is this just a secret to the universe that we haven't figured out? I think there's a delay.
That
I
sounds
think we're
logical
locked
to
up.
me because there's a
Yeah,
lot.
yeah. I think we have a problem with the internet, Janice. There's a really strong delay going on. And people are hearing it too. I'm watching some of the comments. There's a delay. When I do ask a question, the delay is like 5 or 10 seconds when you finally hear me ask the question. Like right now.
Okay.
Yeah, it's very strange. So, listen, I want to thank you for the show tonight. And where can everybody go and get your books?
Well,
Yeah.
they can get them on Amazon, and if they happen to be in Virginia City, they can get them at the Right Stuff Antiques in Virginia City. And Barnes and Noble, I better say. Barnes
Barnes and Noble. I really appreciate it, Janice, and I look forward to having you on the show again very, very soon. And just happy ghost hunting, and I look forward to your next book. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Jimmy. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a great night. And what an amazing conversation tonight. Janice is amazing. She's been doing this for a long time. She's got over 40 books out, and just go, and it's simple. Head over to Amazon and search Janice Oberding. Everything is right there. I want to thank Janice for coming on the show tonight. And tomorrow night, what do I have going on tomorrow? I'll tell you right now. Tomorrow night on Fade to Black is Varla Ventura. I've got her on tomorrow night. We're also going to be talking about the paranormal tomorrow night. So I will see everybody there. It's been a long day for me here at Fade to Black. 4 shows. I apologize for the internet issues that were coming in tonight. But, I don't freak out anymore. And maybe it was those ghosts that I speak of. That's right. Fade to Black is produced by Hilton J. Palm, Renee Newman, and Michelle Freed. Thank you to Dennis and Kevin. Thank you, Bill. Thank you, Jonathan. Webmaster is Drew the Geek. Music, Doug Aldrich. Intro, Spaceboys, spaceboymusic.com. Fade to Black is produced by KJCR for the Game Changer Network. This broadcast is owned and copyrighted 2023 by Fade to Black and the Game Changer Network, Inc. It cannot be rebroadcast, downloaded, copied, or used anywhere in the known universe without written permission from Fade to Black and the Game Changer Network. Everybody be safe. I'll see you tomorrow night with Varla Ventura. Until then, I want you to be safe. Go Backley Tappy.